Wow, I forgot what I was gonna say. I hate that. Mid-sentence too.
Just a quick disclaimer before we start the video. My camera was acting weird and it kept messing with the colors in the clips. I tried to fix it, didn't really work, so I apologize, but enjoy the video.
What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. How's it going? Happy New Year. This is the first video of 2018. I'm so ready and so pumped. I just feel like there's so many good things to come in 2018. Today I filmed a video on how I get my flawless foundation. These are some tips that I've been using and that I've kind of molded into my own to make sure I get a flawless foundation application, because lately I feel everybody gets so focused on cut creases and blending out eyeshadows and making this blend and that blend that we kind of forget about the complexion part, which I feel is most important. I know, at least I have. I decided to film this video to show you guys how I get a flawless foundation, since you guys voted yes for it on my Instagram. So if you want to see how I get flawless foundation as well as my highlight contour routine all into one, then go ahead and keep on watching. So let's get started. My very first tip for having flawless foundation is actually shaving your face. I already did it before I started filming, so I'm not gonna do it on camera. It's really easy. I just use like a little electric razor. I know it's weird. I get a little bit of peach fuzz on my face, so therefore I have to kind of shave it off. Leaves a nice smooth canvas for me, because sometimes if I go without doing it, I'll kind of start to see little hairs and it just won't look as smooth and, you know, fleeky as I want it to be. So yeah, first thing is shaving your face. Next, we're gonna go in and start to prep the face. One thing I like to use is this Bare Minerals Brilliant Future. It's this right here. It's a serum, which I'm running low on and I need to get more. And it has a little dropper, but we're just gonna get it out of here like that. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that all over my face just to prep my face. And I think people with oily skin, it's really important for you to moisturize your face, because I mean the point of when your skin gets super oily, it's because it's dry, so it's producing oils to moisturize your face. So keep that in mind. If you have oily skin, make sure you use a moisturizer or a serum, or like I'm gonna use both, a serum and a moisturizer, to go ahead and prep the skin first before applying your foundation, because it really helps with your skin not getting oily throughout the day, if that makes sense. All right, so now that we've got on our serum, I'm gonna go in with a moisturizer, and this is by OLAY Active Hydrating. I've literally used this for years, like ever since high school. My mom is the one who put me on this. Thanks, Mom. So I've always used this. This has never done me wrong, and I love this stuff because it's super hydrating. And as you guys know, I moved from Wisconsin to Arizona, and let me tell you, it is dry as hell here in Arizona, like super dry. So I need all the hydration I can literally get, because let me tell you something, it is dry as hell in this desert. All right, so now that I have on my serum and my moisturizer, I let that sit for a moment, just to kind of seep into the skin, and then we'll go into primer. So now I've let that sink into the skin, I'm gonna start priming my face. I always use the Too Faced Hangover RX primer, because like I said, I live in Arizona and my skin is dry, and this is really hydrating and I absolutely love this stuff. So I'm gonna go in with this, and I'm gonna do 2 pumps of it, and we're just gonna apply that all over to the skin, and I'm just gonna go ahead and rub that in. I even take this down my neck as well, and just add a little bit more hydration. I'm gonna go in with the Hangover RX. This is the setting spray, or it's a 2-in-1 or 3-in-1, so you can set it or use it as a primer. So I'm just gonna spray that all over my face. I low-key like drench myself in it. And I actually learned this trick from Mac Daddy. He takes a beauty blender and he just kind of pats it into the skin. And honestly, it just feels so good. And low-key, I know this is kind of extra, but this is literally been making my foundation look so good. Like, as you guys saw in that video, in the photo that I posted, I didn't edit my skin at all. Zero edit, like nothing. And I did this, and I've been doing this, and it's been making my foundation look so good and so flawless. So now I'm just gonna let that sit a little bit too. But as for foundation, I wanna show you guys the foundation I'm using, which is actually drugstore. This is the L'Oreal TRUMATCH, and I'm in the color N7. This is the foundation I'm gonna be using, and I'm gonna take that same beauty blender that we use to press the primer into our skin. I'm gonna use that to go ahead and apply my foundation as well, just so that it adds that little bit of moisture slash primer to my skin. And honestly, my skin feels so good right now. Cannot tell you guys how dry it is out here. So I'm just gonna take my beauty blender or my Real Techniques beauty sponge, and we're just gonna go ahead and apply the foundation. And I start on the jawline and then just work my way up. And I do one side at a time. And don't forget to bring it down your neck too. And honestly, I'll sit here for like ever and just literally just keep blending this in. And I even put some on my ear because I want everything to match, okay? Everything. I don't want to have any questionable areas. And I love this foundation because it's not completely matte. It has like a little bit of a satin finish to it, which I love, love, love. All right, so now that we've got our foundation on, I'm gonna start with contouring and highlighting. And I've been using something different to contour with. I've actually been using this Born This Way Natural Radiance Concealer, and I've been using it in very deep. A friend of mine, Dee, gave me this actually, and we're just gonna go ahead and contour with this. I'm really liking this because it has this really nice natural finish to it. Something I would not use for under eye highlights because I always use I'm too faithful to my to my Tarte Shape Tape. So this is what I'm gonna use to contour. And I don't contour my nose with the cream because my nose is already oily enough. So I just go in with powders. And we're just gonna blend that out with the beauty blender. So now that we've got our contour down, and I'm gonna go in with the powder contour as well. So if it disappears a little bit on you, that's okay, because we're gonna go in with the powder contour anyway. But I'm gonna go ahead and use my Tarte Shape Tape in the color, not this one, but in the color tan. As you guys know, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know this is like the only concealer I use for my under eye highlights. And we're just gonna highlight usual under the eyes, on the tip of the nose. And when I contour, I mean not contour, but when I highlight my face, I go ahead and highlight on the sides of my nose as well, because I need my nose to be snatched at all times. And what I'm also gonna do is go in right under where we contour, just to kind of clean that up as well. Very lightly. Well, that didn't turn out to be too light, but you feel me? So I'm gonna go right under there too, just so that we can have a very pronounced contour, because I'm all about being snatched, okay? And I'm gonna go in with my Real Techniques Beauty Blender, and I'm just gonna blend all that out. Okay, so now that we've got our highlight and contour on, we're gonna go in with our setting powder. I like to use the RCMA No Color Powder. This is like one of my staples, honestly. I stopped using the Laura Mercier one and started using this one. It just, I don't know, there's something about it that I just find that's magical. And I'm just gonna take a damp beauty blender, and I'm not gonna bake actually. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pat this under my eye until it pretty much disappears. So actually I'm gonna use this one that I used for the concealer in the first place to go under my eye, just to make sure I don't set any creases. And then I'm gonna go in with a clean one, and I'm gonna set everything. And I'm just gonna set it until everything disappears pretty much. And I'm going along my nose and under my eye. And I'm just gonna keep setting it until I don't see anything. And I'm gonna set my lid as well. I'm just gonna keep pouncing pretty much until it's like completely in the skin. So there. So now that it looks like that, so it's pretty much like a matte finish, and it's set. And I'm gonna do the same thing under my other eye. So I'm gonna pat under it to make sure I don't have any creases. I'm gonna take my RCMA powder and just tap off a little bit of excess if you take too much, and set it. And you're just gonna keep pouncing until you don't see any powder. And I love this powder because it's so finely milled. It just seeps into the skin so easily. And just a little bit on the chin. So mainly where areas I get super oily is where I'm gonna use this powder at. And I'm gonna do it on my nose as well. Pretty much all in my T-zone and under the eyes is where I'm gonna use this technique. Because I find sometimes with baking, especially if your skin is pretty dry, it looks cakey, which I hate. I think no one really likes to have cakey foundation. So I find that this is pretty helpful. And make sure, I forgot to mention, make sure your beauty blender is damp as well, because if it's not damp, it doesn't grab onto the powders as well. And I feel like, because I've tried this using it dry and it just did not work the way I wanted to and made it look really cakey. Now that we've got our under eyes all set and everything is looking pretty good, we still have to set this part in our forehead because all we set was under our eyes, on our lids, nose, and here. So we have to make sure we set the rest of our face because, as we all know, powders blend way better with powder. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a mixture between two powders actually. I'm gonna take a mixture between this L'Oreal TRUMATCH powder, which is in the N7, which is the same color as my foundation, and this Rihanna Fenty Beauty translucent powder. This is bomb.com, like shit. Rihanna is just amazing. And this line, don't get me started because she's just bomb.com. But we're gonna go ahead and set the rest of our face using those two powders. And I'm using this Morphe MB1. It's a very fluffy brush, so it's not gonna pack any color on. It's just gonna set everything nicely. And the reason why I mix the two is because the translucent powder, it's really good and you can definitely use it on its own, but I just want to make sure I get a little bit of color too. But yeah, if you want it, you can honestly use the translucent powder, the Fenty Beauty Universal Translucent Powder, I believe it's the name. You can use that on its own and that'll be perfectly fine. So now that our face is cinnamon! Anyways, so now that our face is completely set, I'm gonna start bronzing and then we're gonna go in with our powder contour. I'm gonna use the Wet n Wild Mega Glow contouring palette, and I'm gonna use this dark side. As you can see, I use this a lot, especially around this time. This is like the perfect contouring slash bronzing color for me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add some color back into my face here. On the jawline as well. So now I'm gonna contour my nose, and as you guys know, I need my nose. As you guys know, I need my nose to be snatched. So I'm gonna take the same color right here on this brush. It came with like this kit. I think it was like a brush kit of 12 that I got off Amazon like forever and 3 days ago. And I'm gonna start contouring my nose, and I'm gonna take it all the way from the inner brow and bring it all the way down. I'm gonna start here. And I like to use circular motions right up here, just so that it's really blended. So little circular motions here, and then I just start to bring it down slowly. Because I feel like if you just go like straight up and down, it's not gonna look as natural. So this kind of adds a natural shadow to it. Doing it this way. And I'm just slowly working it. And can you tell the difference between this side and that side? How it really just adds that nose-like look. That doesn't make any sense. And I don't pick up a lot of product at all, and that's what I really like about using this, is that it doesn't pick up, it picks up a good amount of product, but for the nose in particular, I don't want to take a huge amount of product and then have to blend it out later, because that's always harder to do. So work with less and then add more later to work with. So what I'm going to do next is go in with blush. I'm just going to use this blush from Urban Decay. It's called Crush, and I'm just going to go ahead and add that. Oh shit, I did not mean to add that much. Do my lashes off camera, so I'll see you in just a bit. Okay, so now that I've got my lashes on and I'm looking halfway decent, I'm gonna go in with my Mario Badescu spray. Now this right here is the GOAT. Like, it's the greatest of all time. But this right here is what I prefer to set my face with because of the oils in it. I use either this one, this is a facial spray with Olay, chamomile, and lavender. So this smells a little bit better than the regular rose water. But I use either this or the rose water to set my face because there's something about Mario Badescu that makes like your makeup look like skin. But before we do that, I'm just gonna wipe off the excess powder that we went ahead and used, and I'm just gonna literally pretty much drench my face in this stuff. It feels so amazing. This is like cake face proof. I don't care how many powders you use as many powders as you want, but once you spray this stuff on your face, your makeup's gonna look snatched. Major. So now I'm just gonna let that dry down a little bit, and now I'm gonna go in and highlight. So another thing I've been using lately to kind of highlight my face is actually, I've been going into the Juvia's SAHARAN 2 palette, and I've been taking this color right here. This is AZIZA, and it's this beautiful gold color. You'll see. So just gonna take a little bit of it, and I'm gonna highlight my brow bone, like the very tops of it. It looks white in the pan, but it's definitely a gold color. And the reason why I let my face get a little bit damp is because with my skin being a little bit damp, it's gonna help with making the highlights pop. Boom. I'm also gonna put this on my nose, just a little bit. And then just on the bridge of the nose, just right here. And boom, it snatches my face. I swear, I love this color. AZIZA by Juvia's. If they sold this in like a regular, just individual pan, oh my gosh, it would be lit. And I'm just gonna put this in the inner corner as well, just to add a little bit of pop, because I feel like it just opens up the eyes a little bit more. See, I'm feeling myself right now. Ugh. So I'm gonna use Morphe fan brush. This is the M601, and I think I'm gonna go in with this Anastasia Beverly Hills That Glow Kit. Oldie but always a goodie. I'm gonna take this yellow color right here. This is Sunburst. Add that. A little bit of that. I'm just gonna put that on the nose a little bit. And now, just to have the highlight sink in and everything sink in as one, I'm gonna go in and spray my face again, but not as much. So now that my face is all set, I'm gonna go in with my lip color. I'm gonna use, I think, two things I'm doing. Go in with my NARS Don't Stop. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of this in the center, just to add some dimension. That pretty much completes everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any requests on videos I should do, let me know. In the meantime, make sure you follow me on all my social medias, Snapchat as well as Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.